The woman simply picked up the champagne and forcefully smashed it against the brand new nuclear submarine. But no one expected that the bottle, which should have shattered on impact, actually bounced back completely intact. This scene left all the officers and soldiers present completely stunned. According to naval tradition, if the champagne doesn't break before the vessel is launched, it's considered a bad omen. And in fact, that was exactly the case. During the construction of the submarine, accidents kept happening one after another, and a total of 9 workers died under mysterious circumstances. To this day, the exact cause has never been found. Privately, the soldiers all called this submarine the Widowmaker, and the accident at the launching ceremony was only the beginning of the nightmare that followed. Because it was the height of the Cold War, and in order to demonstrate its nuclear counterstrike capability to the United States, the Soviet military sent the K-19 nuclear submarine on a secret launch mission in the North Atlantic without any testing or inspection. The launch location was such that it could cover the entire continental United States. Unexpectedly, not long after the submarine left port, an accident occurred. Just as the submarine had barely submerged to a depth of 3, at a depth of just 30 meters, a leak occurred inside the hull. Fortunately, the problem wasn't too serious, and they soon reached the missile launch area. At this point, as long as they surfaced and successfully launched the missile, the mission would be considered a success. But at this critical moment, the captain did not choose to carry out the mission. Instead, he ordered the submarine to make an emergency dive. The reason was that he wanted to test the submarine's depth limit. Soon, the submarine reached a depth of 250 meters underwater. But the captain wanted to keep diving, while the vice captain believed that if they continued, the submarine could be instantly crushed by the immense water pressure. However, the captain stubbornly ignored everyone's warnings and immediately ordered the submarine to dive again. The next moment, when the submarine reached a depth of 300 meters, the powerful water pressure visibly caused the hull to start deforming. At this point, the soldiers inside the submarine were all extremely nervous. Fortunately, as the most advanced nuclear submarine in the world at the time, the K-19 successfully completed the 300-meter depth test. But just then, a soldier noticed that one of the gauges on the nuclear reactor suddenly malfunctioned. The needle inexplicably pointed to the safety threshold. But after tapping it a few times, it returned to normal, so the soldier didn't pay much attention to him. However, while the crew was resting after completing the test, a catastrophic disaster quietly approached. Suddenly, a pipe inside the nuclear reactor exploded, and in the next second, deadly nuclear radiation instantly spread throughout the entire submarine. It was this very accident that truly turned the world's most powerful nuclear submarine into a so-called Widowmaker. Although the submarine eventually managed to return to port, the heavy sacrifices paid made this steel giant lurking in the deep sea the most ironic living monument of the Cold War era. The steel behemoth once roared across the oceans, but ultimately became a mobile coffin of radiation. This world record was achieved at the cost of 138 lives. Who would have thought that every single rivet was engraved with the madness of the Cold War?